We Indians are very passionate about elections. Voting gives people the power to decide who will run the country. When elections come, a buzz is created and you suddenly feel you are powerful. But while you have the power to change governments, do the deep-rooted problems go away? Has your vote solved India's deepest problems? Today, I'm going to ask you a few questions. If you think you can decide the fate of a nation, you should have the answers to these questions. Thank you for tuning in. This is Ratna. You are watching Empire Diaries. There are many people who go out to vote with one issue in mind: how to fix the economy. My question to them: have you noticed that there is a deep and wide foreign control over the Indian economy and it is harming India's financial health? Right now, more than 17,000 foreign companies are directly and indirectly doing businesses on Indian soil. Through their business operations, they are earning huge profits, but they are not investing those profits in the Indian economy. They are transferring almost all of it straight out of India to their home countries. A research team has found that foreign companies and other international bodies together suck out about $500 billion out of India every single year. It includes direct and undeclared outflow of India's financial wealth. India's loss becomes foreign countries' gain. That's because the money that leaves India gets invested in the countries where the companies are headquartered. This outward transfer of money happens under various names such as repatriation of profits. The money leak is happening as you are watching this report. It has been happening slowly since 1947. Then it picked up pace since the early 1990s. The current money drain is about 2 times more than what British colonizers used to steal from India, according to research. Think about India as your family and the Indian economy as your family's bank account. We are welcoming thousands of MNCs to pull most of the money out of the family account. Ideally, India should ask them to invest at least 50% of their earnings back to the Indian economy. That doesn't happen. Therefore, the non-stop money outflow is making India poorer and poorer. Who should take charge of fixing this leak? Your favorite election candidate. As a voter, don't you think you should cast your vote keeping this in mind? Have you thought about telling your favorite candidate to stop MNCs from siphoning India's financial wealth? While voting, do you worry about this gigantic money outflow? If the leak is fixed, the Indian economy's money will mostly stay back at home. As a result, the country will steadily start becoming prosperous. Average household incomes will start shooting up and half of India's most systemic problems will be resolved due to newly available cash. Does this matter cross your mind on voting day? Here is another question about protecting India's financial wealth, which is also your financial wealth. Why does India constantly suffer from a huge trade deficit? India imports way more goods and services from abroad than it exports to the outside world. Again, let's consider India as a family. The family is earning a small amount of money by exporting things, but it is spending a fortune buying a lot of foreign stuff, most of which can be produced at home. So, we are selling very little but buying a lot. Naturally, the money balance is going to be negative and the trade deficit will go on ballooning. As of last year, India's trade deficit was about $122 billion. Let's take India's export-import data from 1960 to 2022, covering 62 years. You will notice that India had annual trade surplus only 5 times in these 6 decades. The country recorded annual trade deficit 57 times. When you go out to vote, shouldn't this be on your mind? Ask yourself if your candidate really worries about fixing the perpetual trade deficit. Do you think your candidate can fix a problem that has been there since 1947? India's brightest brains routinely leave the country. They run away to the West and to other places for higher salaries and a better living. In India, parents bring up their children dreaming of sending them to London, Paris, Silicon Valley and Australia. Due to this mass tendency to escape, India has been hit by a constant brain drain since 1947. The sharpest, most innovative and most enterprising youngsters settle abroad, join foreign companies and help those countries prosper and boom. They do send back remittances to India, but it is a small fraction compared to the loss the Indian economy suffers due to the absence of the best minds. With the cream gone, India is left with the second string of bright minds, and that directly impacts the overall quality of the domestic workforce and leadership. Last year, a study found something alarming. Among the top 1,000 scorers in the joint entrance exams for IIT, around 36% went abroad, and among the top 100 scorers, 62% went abroad. 2 years ago, the number of Indian students leaving India for higher education hit an all-time high. The figure was 7.7 lakh students. Here is more. In the last 9 years, about 9 lakh NRIs gave up their Indian citizenship. By the end of 2024, 18 lakh students are expected to spend about $85 billion to study abroad. Imagine the quantity of money leaving the Indian economy. Why? So that Indian youngsters can go abroad to study and then never come back. By settling down abroad, they will help some other country's economy grow. We are not asking you to be xenophobic towards the outside world. The point is, someone needs to put the country in a very good shape so that our brightest minds are willing to stay back here and contribute to their native economy and society. If the brain drain can be stopped, India's best talent will work for India and the country will prosper. When you go out to vote, do you consider if your candidate has this problem in mind? The next question is about over-taxation. This is not about routine issue of rising taxes and falling income. The point is debated by politicians and the mainstream media to manipulate voter emotion. Our question is deeper and bigger. It's not about tax rates. It's about you as a voter constantly getting overtaxed and never being aware of it. Do you wonder why you get taxed over and over again for the same amount of money? When your salary comes in, you pay a professional income tax. So your income is already taxed. It shouldn't be taxed again, right? But after paying income tax, you again pay taxes multiple times on the same income. Every time you buy something with the taxed income, you pay a new tax. Apart from income tax, you pay GST on what you buy, you pay toll tax for traveling, registration fees for various things, renewal fees, property tax, gift tax, wealth tax, and taxes on fuel. Take the case of GST. Ideally, companies should pay GST to the government. But in reality, the system is designed for the opposite to happen. Companies pay GST, but they don't bear it at all. It's you who bears a burden and pays GST. Companies openly add GST to the price of their goods and services. The tax burden gets shifted to you. It's you, the voter, who alone pays the transaction taxes. Take the case of petrol and diesel. When the market price of petrol is say ₹96, its base price is ₹57. But oil marketing companies like Bharat Petroleum, Indian Oil and Hindustan Petroleum add a huge amount of taxes to the base price. They add 4 taxes: freight, excise, dealer commission and VAT. All that burden falls straight on you, the voter. It's clear case of overtaxation, and it's a bigger problem for you than income tax rates. When you vote, do you consider this angle? Have you ever thought about asking your favorite candidate to end the practice of overtaxation? You worry a lot about inflation in the election season, but as a voter, do you go one step deeper? Do you wonder why the Indian rupee has been constantly falling in value ever since independence? The rupee's value against the US dollar, the world's most powerful currency, has never ever gone up. It has only gone down and down. In 1947, $1 could be exchanged for rupees 3.30. Fast forward to 1990, the exchange rate was $1 equals to 17 rupees. Then in 2011, the rupee crashed further. It needed 55 rupees to buy $1. Right now, $1 equals to 83.5 rupees. Very soon, the rupee will become so weak globally that it will need 100 rupees to buy $1. This constant fall of the Indian rupee has cost the Indian economy dearly. 1. It keeps igniting domestic inflation from time to time. 2. Because the rupee is getting weaker and weaker, routine imports are becoming costlier and costlier for India. So India is leaking more and more money for the same quantity of imported goods. 3. As the rupee continues to fall in value, it gets easier for wealthy foreign investors to start businesses in India. As time goes by and the rupee value drops, investors will have to bring in much fewer dollars to start a business in India. Similarly, they will need to spend fewer dollars to take over an Indian business. All along, as the rupee weakens, the financial power of the working class and local business owners keeps going down and down. During election season, have you given this perpetual crisis a thought? Do you go beyond the basic problem of inflation and think deeply about the bigger problem of the falling rupee? There are many other questions that we can raise, but we will draw a line here. The whole point of this exercise is to make you realize one thing, that you as a voter have not been professionally trained to vote, because if you had the right training, you would ask deeper questions. You would realize that the country is struggling with permanent problems that have been around since 1947. You will realize that merely changing parties in power is not working. If you are not raising these questions, then you are not prepared to vote. Never stop asking questions. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever we publish a report. Follow us on Facebook and on X. Do continue to watch our reports because we cover the cover-ups.